Hi, I'm Chef Brenden Darby. We're here in Santa Cruz, California at Love Apple Farms, home of the best tomatoes in the world. And today I'm going to show you how to easily preserve a nice, easy, fresh tomato sauce. Okay, first, preserving our tomato sauce, we're going to use a couple heirloom cherry tomatoes as well as our Roma tomatoes and our basic herbs of thyme, rosemary, and marjoram. I'm also going to add a little bit of onion and some garlic along with just a splash of our white wine infusion that has cheesecloth with some peppercorns and a bay leaf in there. All right, we're going to start with our jar here. We want to make sure we have a good rubber seal on this one, a nice new one. And I like the latch jars here just because they work easiest when doing this type of preserving. They latch down, hold tight, and they're reusable. The other screw-on tops are a little bit more difficult just because the lids don't allow air to escape as easily. We're going to start with putting our herbs in. We're just going to throw them in whole. We're going to be able to fish those out, and by putting them on the bottom, they won't come out on top. And then I'm just going to slice my tomatoes. We're going to cut the cherry tomatoes in half. We have a couple different colors just for a nice, beautiful sauce. And this sauce is going to be super fresh. So we're going to add our white wine, and I like to use honey to sweeten up the sauce a little bit. It gets rid of the acidity. And that way we don't have any like sharp corners on the flavors of our tomato sauce. I'll just get a couple more of these little cherries in there. And these guys are super sweet as well. And we have our San Marzano tomatoes here. I've blanched them in boiling water and then dropped them in a little ice bath. I'm just going to peel off the skins just a little bit. Blanching them and removing their skins is really helpful in like getting any of those sharp flavors out as well. We're trying to round everything out. With this one, since we're not caramelizing our tomatoes or our onions or anything, it's all going to be fresh. We got to make sure we have some sweetness and some a little richness in there. So we're just going to dice these guys up. All of them there. You can do any size you want to, bite size, you can do larger, you could even do full slices if you wanted. This is all going to cook down. We're going to let it cook for about an hour in our boiling liquid. And that way it gets nice and reduced. That's going to let some of the steam out of the jar as it cooks and reduce down to a beautiful sauce. Now you want to be careful when purchasing these jars. Just because some craft stores do sell like decorative ones, you want to make sure it is a canning jar and that you can do preserving in it, or else you might have a little accident in your kitchen. You get those in, and I'm trying my best to keep the edge of this jar clean. Having anything on the edge there kind of prevents the seal from working properly. So we want to make sure that there's nothing sitting on the edge there, and before we close it up and put it in the water, that it's nice and clean. That way it can release its gases that are going to form in there nice and easily without getting clogged or closed up for some reason. You can keep this on your shelf or in your fridge. You just want to keep it in a dark, cool place and you can keep it up to 3 months to stay fresh. After that, it tends to lose its fresh flavors. Just like wine or anything else you would keep for a long time. All right, we'll add our onions on top there. Get everything nice and full. And this is a really good gift. It looks really pretty layered, and it's super simple. All they have to do is heat it up. And I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic on top. Before we start the actual preserving process, I'm just going to add a little bit of wine. In total, about a quarter cup. I'm also going to season with a little bit of salt. Salt will help preserve it just a little bit and assist in the preserving process. And then I'm going to close this guy up here, nice and tight. There we go. And I'm going to drop these little rings in they're jar rings that I'm going to drop into the boiling water. That way my jar is not sitting directly on the hot bottom of the pot. I'm going to take this and slowly submerge it into my boiling liquid, just so that the bottom rests safely on the bottom there, safely on those rings. That way it doesn't burn. We're going to wait and let our jar cool just a little bit so it's easier to take out. Grab it from the lid. And what you didn't see was I was adding water to the pot. We let it go for about an hour, and that way adding water, it doesn't evaporate all the way out, and that way I can continue cooking it evenly. You can let this cool on your counter and then put it away in your cupboard if you want to keep it for a couple weeks, or we can go ahead and use it right away. We got our pasta there. We're just going to give it a nice little turn so it's in one mound. That way it retains its heat. And then I'm going to open this puppy up. Got a little pop there. That's great. Stir it around a little bit. Look at all that beautiful juice, beautiful sauce going on. All those flavors have combined together really well. So I'm going to spoon out my tomato sauce and my onions, trying not to get the herbs. You can take the herbs out afterwards. That's totally fine. I'm just going to finish it with a little bit of the balsamic glaze. And there you have it. It's an easy way to make preserved tomato sauce. I hope you enjoyed my technique of preserving homemade spaghetti sauce. For more info about how I made my pasta, you can check out my website at brendendarby.com.